when that is not there. Anyway, so this is session 2 of 2, get the numbers right, of Grimm, which is Fantasy Flight Games' old big book single game that they did one of and never touched again. They had done a D20 version of it earlier as part of their Horizon line, back in the heyday of D20 in the late 90s, early aughts. And we're doing 2 sessions of this for the Gauntlet Hangouts. We got the kids into the Grimm lands last time. This is a game of twisted fairy tales. The tone is dangerous, but not Cronenbergian. This is not, full on body horror, but it is horrific, and the kids are at risk. Though heroism is still also a possibility in this world. It's not completely nihilistic. It's not like Last Days of Anglekite, something like that. So it does have some hope to it. Anyway, so we're going to introduce our 3 characters that are on the table, established from last time already. And then we're going to bring Josh's character in. So let's go ahead and start with Simon, our bully. Tell us about Simon, what he looks like, and what we know about him.
Okay. So Simon looks like a punk kid. He wears a hoodie that's a bit too big for him, that has a skull with black flame around it. He doesn't tend to smile a lot. He's more about sneering. And he's not actually that tall for a bully. He's effective because he's a little crazy. And in 2nd grade, like, the most notorious thing he did was like jump on a 5th grader and bite his nose fairly effectively. And a big thing about him is not to feel like he's being disrespected, which has been a little rough with the dweebs he's been hanging out with recently, because they don't seem to realize who they're messing with. So yeah, he's great in a scrap. He's not so much about the book learning.
All right. How about Luna Lichtenstein? I'm probably okay.
Well, nobody in this country can speak my name properly, so don't worry about that. Because, well, I have a diverse background. Luna is, my mother is a Nepalese wise woman, also called Shamaine. Her father is a Parisian actor, and so she lived in the Himalayan mountains and in Paris, and now she's in the school class for a couple of months now. And yeah, and the greatest joy she got out of fairy tales and reading stories from she has. She didn't have so much contact with her peers to have, which is especially unnerving in the case of Jason. Sorry. So Simon, and well, Alex is a much kinder character, I have to say, and I think Luna can get along with him after a while. Let's see. So Simon has a soft heart in the end. Yeah, and I have something with me. It's a pendulum, and it can lead us through scary escapes. That's at least what Luna is hoping for.
Awesome. And it looks like David has frozen for me. So we will give him, David, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We've got a picture of you holding your arm up in front of your face there, at least on my thing. So I don't know what that's up with that. David, if you could tell us about Alex, or Pac.
Yeah. So Alex is really hitting his growth spurt. He's already jumped up to somewhere in the 5 feet beyond range. And it's so awkward. He can't walk right. He can't move without bumping into something. And he can't help but outgrow shoes. So he's currently wearing like his father's shoes. And Simon routinely makes fun of him for whatever he happens to wear. he has broken out in acne early, so naturally he's got all kinds of pockmarks on his face, and Simon came up with the great idea of calling him Pock, and everyone picked it up, and that's why Alex is an outcast.
I mean, I'm not sure that it led to you being an outcast. I mean, if anything, it's an iconic name, really.
Yeah, I definitely don't hide from people and not talk to them because my name is Pock.
Right. So these three, along with the rest of the class, Josh, which you were part of, went to a nature preserve as an end of school year summer trip, and traveled across to this island. And while they were on the path, they got separated from the rest of the class, and then got moved around and got lost. And when they finally found their teacher, something had happened to her, and she had become a doughy creature with beetle eyes, and the smell of yeast rolling off of her. And there were other sort of dough children with her and trying to get to them. And the group took off and ran away, made their escape, found themselves outside of the woods and saw this great countryside, saw in one direction a great body of water, in the other patchwork landscape, and then forward towards mountains. And Luna used her dowser to figure out a path, and they went forward towards the mountains, and they found a building of iron that was surrounded by barbed wire and all kinds of traps, and they walked right up to it, or rather Simon did, and proceeded to pound on the door, and were eventually let in by a pig who allowed them into the house. And he was very nervous about them, but he did let them in, and he gave them a little bit of information. He provided them with food, some supplies, and set them up, let them rest. He had some problems that they had to help sort out, at least briefly, since his brothers had been murdered, and he lived in terror of the big bad wolf, which is why he had this enormous multi-locked house. And in the morning, he gave them food and supplies, and they armed themselves with some items, and they headed out. Luna, Simon, Alex, what important detail have I left out? Anything?
You can just imagine things, and it just kind of happens if you have enough imagination. Luna made one potato grow into a whole root of potatoes. It was very impressive. Oh, and we're supposed to be on the lookout for avoiding people in yellow.
Yes.
And one other thing that I can't recall.
I think the yellow thing was the primary thing that he left you with there.
There's the awareness that the ability to do things like make potatoes grow with your mind is why people want to kidnap us and enslave us. It's because children have power here. Children other than Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as I mentioned a little bit in the chat, we're slightly more armed. Simon has a board with nails in it that he calls Lockjaw. And he also, I think the shield went to Luna, and the war pitchfork went to Pock.
Right.
It's like a trident.
Yeah. So they are slightly armed. So with all of that in mind, Josh, let's have you tell us about your character, what his or her relationship is to the others, and then we'll kind of narrate out and figure out how how you got out of the situation with that horror in the woods. So take it away.
Yeah, so Jonathan Johnson, he's just a little skinny nerd, doesn't have much muscle or height to him or anything. Wears glasses that are probably too big for him, and so they're sliding down, and Simon's probably broken them before, so they probably have the tape. He's he gets upset if people call him Johnny Boy. As Jonathan Johnson, kind of. He's pretty good at anything studious, of course. And then, since he gets picked on a lot, he's gotten good at hiding, and he's got a fairly good imagination because he's probably one of those kids that he's playing D&D and whatnot, and I feel like maybe Pac might be one of the people that plays with him. He's probably one of the only people that he actually gets along with somewhat in class.
Yeah, it's probably not so much that I play with you as like I sit there and you roll 20-sided die and tell me what happened and then what happens next, and I just kind of smile and nod.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I know he has glasses. What does he look like? What does Jonathan? How is he dressed? What does he look like?
Like I said, he's pretty, skinny, frail body, short. Probably he wears button-up shirt and has a pocket protector on his pocket. Probably got like a protractor and just several pens, pencils, whatnot. Probably carries some dice around with him.
Oh yeah. What is his keepsake? What is the sort of the valued item that he has brought with him?
Probably his dice.
Okay. Is it a nice dice bag? Is it a Crown Royal one? Is it a fancy one? Is it Ziploc?
I think it's probably homemade.
Okay.
Probably made it himself. It's actually probably like a little box that he made for him.
Okay. So you were on this field trip. You got separated.
Probably mom made me go.
Okay. Because normally you would have would you have asked her not to sign the permission slip, or how did that go down?
Yeah, I probably tried to, hide the permission slip from her, and she probably saw it in my bag or something. And just assumed that I should go or wanted to go. So.
And how did you end up getting separated from the rest of the group in the woods?
I probably had, in my backpack with me, I probably had, since I have, the scouts, I probably, while I might not be an actual part of the scouts, I probably study all their books, and so I probably had a book about different plants and birds and stuff, and got distracted trying to figure out what some bird or plant was, and got left behind.
And you would have gotten separated and wandered, and you would have come across in the sort of the dark woods a person. You kind of followed the sort of the sweet smell. You would have found a person out there in the woods with this sort of dirty apron on, and a big cauldron that was bubbling, and you knew that something was wrong. His face was sort of apple cheeked and shiny, and he was kind of beckoning to you. What was it? What was the thing that made you go, I got to get out of here? This is wrong.
I think he reminded me of like an NPC from like a D&D manual of like someone who cooks children or something.
Okay. Yeah, he had definitely that look of a character. And you would have booked out of the woods again, decent scamper. You know how to hide. You saw other figures moving around before you broke out of the woods. Traveled, down the road. You didn't want to break left or right. You'd gone in a particular direction. Instinct told you to go this way. How do you survive at night? You had to stay out here outside at least one night. What did you do?
So like I said, I had, I've got the scout stuff. I have all the knowledge. Haven't really ever had to apply it, and so I probably tried to apply some of that, like rubbing the sticks together to make a fire and to keep myself warm, and tried to make a decent shelter or something.
Awesome. And you got a 4th grade scouts. You had some time, able to set yourself up. You would have come across a set of gallows with scarecrows hanging from them. One of the gallows having collapsed off to the side. A little bit creepy, kind of drove you on. Did you bring any food with you in your pack, in your little carry thing?
I think my mom packed me some kind of lunch or something, and with everything going on, I had been scared and just moving, so I didn't eat anything until later. Like I probably got, it's probably some just simple, maybe just like a Lunchables or something.
Okay, so Lunchables, not a real homemade thing, but one of the little packs.
Yeah.
Have you saved any part of that lunch, or have you gone through it all?
I think I saved. I ate it all, but I saved like the little Capri Sun thing. I saved that so I could fill it up in a river or something. Yeah.
Fair enough. With that little straw, try and fill that up. Okay. Not sure exactly how that's going to work, but
some of that scout stuff.
Yeah. So let me then kind of bring the two groups together here. Alex, Luna, Simon, you have left the 3rd pig's house. You have gone out onto the road, and you know from Luna's earlier divination that you need to kind of keep going towards the mountain. Need to head that direction. That was certainly where that would pull towards. Our piggish friend mentioned Babylon. And as you are on the road and starting to walk, you will see in the distance, back behind you, the way that you originally came, you will see a somewhat bedraggled figure with glasses, kind of moving along the road this direction. So what do you do?
Is that Johnny Boy? Johnny Boy! Johnny Boy!
I'll look up and just kind of, hey.
Are there more of us here?
I am surprised you are not dead yet.
Well, I'm smarter than you. I can figure this out.
I will punch you real hard and you'll be dead if you say that again.
Yeah.
Back away.
Don't mess with him, Jonathan. Please don't mess with him. He's
I
totally
slept with a
confused.
pig last night, Jonathan.
What?
It's true, he did.
So did you.
Not as close to the pig.
Jonathan, are there more of us around here? Are you alone?
I don't know what happened to everybody. You're the first ones from the class I've seen.
Did you see the freaky baked goods woman? She had these beetles for eyes. It was kind of gnarly.
No, can't. No, I don't think I did. I think I'd remember that.
Probably.
Do you need something to eat? The pig made us some sandwiches.
Yes, I ate all my food last night. I'm hungry.
We've got potatoes too. Luna can make potatoes now.
Seems very focused on that.
And much more. Yes.
I mean, we assume you can do more. We already established though that like you probably have limited power or something. I don't know.
You're just assuming.
Yeah.
Like a potato queen or something?
So, oh my God. Potato queen. I love it. Potato queen!
Just because
Awesome.
you fail to do something, it doesn't mean that you need to make fun of it.
I'm not making fun of you. Made
all-
potatoes.
If we concentrate, we can change this place. We can break through this reality. This is not real. We are in fairy tale land.
Okay.
To find
you
out
wanna-
way out before everything collapses here.
Probably I go up to Pluck and hey, I totally saw a guy from one of our D&D games. I'm telling you, I saw him.
And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. We saw one of the three little pigs.
What?
I think we'll stick with our stories. Your
Look-
D&D stories are like way more dangerous than fairy stories.
He has a name, Pock. It's Reginald. All right? Reginald.
Yeah, Reginald.
The pig has a name.
Well, and he walked on 2 feet, and he could make things with these little piggy hands, and he could bake food in like just a few minutes. And he made soup, and it takes my mom like 3 hours to make soup. It took him like 5 minutes, and he could just put bread into the oven and then pull it right back out, and it was ready to go. Didn't even have to wait for it to rise. And he let us build a blanket fort, and the blanket fort was 3 stories tall. And then he got really scared, and the entire night he would just make all kinds of terrible noises.
All
Yeah,
right,
I wonder if
all
that's
right.
because someone kept on bringing up his dead siblings, Pock. Do you
All
think
right.
anyone may have been bringing up his dead siblings, Pock, over and over again? Pock?
I brought them up one time.
Can you continue talking while we walk? We have a long distance.
I thought you said
to
we could just
traverse.
think our way out.
Puck, can I use your back to write something down?
Do you have paper and
God.
pencil right now?
Yes. You know I
All right,
would.
guys. I start walking. I walk, and who follows me, and the pendulum can come with me. Otherwise, stay where you are.
Yeah, we should get moving.
Right? Yes. Think so. This is place
So-
is dangerous.
And what kind of fairy tale am I stuck with you 3 dweebs?
Apparently, maybe it's more like the old original version of the fairy tales. You know, where everybody dies.
That's a chipper thought.
And on that note, you guys move along the road, having established that horror in the back of your minds. You will travel along. This road turns and twists and goes up and down. The optics here, in terms of what you can see in the distance and then what's actually near you, seem very odd. Like, there's a hill, and maybe there's supposed to be trees over the other side. When you come down, the trees are right there, and you'll find yourself going along that path. Eventually, the path will split, and you can see that it goes through a stand of trees. Not a dense woods, but definitely some woods. There's a path, the road goes on through that, but then it also seems to go around it. Looks like it's a significantly longer trip if you go around it, shorter if you go through it. The odd thing about the woods, the trees that you're seeing there, is every tree is identical. They all have the same set of branches. They all have the same sort of patterning. They all have the same coloring. They're all identical. What do you want to do?
If my games have told me anything, it's that we should go around, even though it'll take longer.
Why?
There's always scary stuff in the woods.
Maybe it's like other games. Maybe like we could just punch the tree and it'll just turn into wood that we can collect.
I would find that hard to believe, but I guess you can try it.
Simon, you're good at punching stuff. Why don't you punch the tree?
No, don't. No, he will definitely do it.
Like, I mean, I am pretty good at punching things, but I don't see why we would want a pile of wood.
Well,
Like,
then we could cut a path. We could cut a path right through the forest.
Well, why don't we just walk through the forest?
Well, if we cut a path through the forest, then it'll be safe because it's the path. But if we go into the forest, then who knows what could happen?
That's
We should go through the forest. Because, like, it's fairy tale lands. Like, these stories are built around certain places. If we don't cross them, another forest will appear somewhere. In the end, we'll only lose time.
All right.
walk
So
on.
Simon goes into the forest.
All right, so Simon begins walking up on the path that goes through the woods. He seems pretty set to do that. What about the rest of you? Following? Watching?
Are you with us?
I think I'm just looking back and forth between them, seeing what they're going to do.
And I just kind of like heft my pitchfork trident on my shoulder, and I'm like, well, I guess let's have an adventure.
Well, I hope it goes nothing like our last game.
The TPK?
Yes.
Okay.
It was only me. How can it be a TPK if it's only me?
You're the
I mean,
only
it's-
one that plays.
Well, look, when I'm a thief and you put a big silver snake in my path, like, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, I mean, you could have tried harder.
So
Are you telling me that you're in an actual fairy tale world and you're arguing about what happened in the imaginary world? Jeez!
I mean, if she can grow potatoes, this might just be an imaginary world.
you
Come on.
will Simon has gone in. Simon, the path kind of goes into the woods. It's not like an ominous dark path, but certainly the woods surround it. As you proceed on in, the path is still there, marked. Stones along the side of it, a slightly cleared area to indicate that this is the road that you will travel on. And there's definitely a piney smell here. It almost smells like you're in a car with a newly opened air freshener. So Alex, he goes in a ways. You've hesitated. Do you follow?
Yeah, I start to follow.
Okay. And Luna has already said she was following. So I guess Jonathan, they go in.
If Pug's going, I'm going.
Okay.
He's the only one that I really trust here.
You will travel along. Simon, you're kind of taking point then?
There's a path. I don't need no fancy pendulum to follow a path. You just follow the path.
Fair enough. Simon, you're a little bit at the front, kind of going up ahead. Can I have you make a seek roll for me?
Sure, what could go wrong?
Absolutely everything.
So Simon has second grade Seek.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes. I got a 2.
Okay.
So do it at second grade.
Do it at second grade. So what is it that keeps Simon from being particularly perceptive?
There's a bunch of nerds arguing behind him. Like loudly. And he's like, I can't believe I have to keep these dweebs safe. Because if I'm not there, they're all going to die. And then everyone's going to blame me because I'll come back and they'll be like, oh, Simon disappeared into the forest with the 3 dweebs and was the only one to emerge alive.
And you're looking back at them kind of irritated. You've kept some distance between. And you'll suddenly realize that you've actually walked out into a kind of a clearing. The woods opens up a little bit. The path continues on, and there are flowers in the clearing. And you will see there's this young woman, and she is clearly plucking the flowers. And you see that she has this red hood on, and she's staring at you. She looks like she might be 15, 16.
Okay. So I think Simon nods at her and goes, "Sup?"
Who art thou?
I'm Simon. That's Johnny Boy, Pock, and Potato Queen.
So I want you to imagine you 3. He's come upon this stranger. He starts having this conversation, and then he points you 3 out very quickly and immediately there. So Luna, what's your reaction to this?
I'm fascinated. I immediately know who that is, and I'm totally fascinated and try to read her mind, to see in which stage she is, which state in her story.
All right.
Is she scared of the wolf, or is she still naively on her way?
She certainly doesn't look scared. Alex, what's your reaction to this beautiful 16-year-old young woman with the red hood?
Yeah, I think I just stop and hold real still and puff up my chest and hold my weapon as if I'm like a military.
All right. And Jonathan?
I think I kind of try and just hide behind Pock. Stay back there trying to get a look at her, but also trying not to be seen. My brain's connecting her to the if the 3 little pigs are real and there's a wolf, then the red hood makes me think Red Riding Hood.
She will look, and she will approach, and she will say, she kind of picks up this basket. You see that she's been gathering flowers. She kind of sets them there. She'll walk over towards you, Simon, and she will say, Master Simon, then is it?
I mean, generally people don't call me master, but I'll take it.
Where are you and your companions headed?
We're trying to make our way home.
Oh.
Say, you seem to have a hood that's red. We met this other guy, Reginald, who was freaking out about a wolf. You haven't seen a wolf around here, have you?
You've heard of him?
Reginald was pretty freaked out about it. Said we should avoid him.
There is a wolf that sometimes pursues me in these woods. I always have to be careful when I come to gather flowers and such.
You should really stay with us then, and I'll keep you safe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Perhaps then we can head on, and you, stout young man, and your brave companions can assist me as we travel.
Does stout mean fat?
Strong. At least where I come from, that is the meaning of this word.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah.
And she'll turn to the three of you, and she'll say, "Is that amenable to you three?"
He's
Just
okay.
hear a loud gulp from me.
Yes.
And she will begin. She'll kind of gesture to the path as it goes on, and she'll hold her basket, and she will move you guys along into the woods, into deeper in. And Luna?
Alex, are you okay? What's your voice and you're shaking?
No,
The Dreamland hunting you.
it's nothing. It's nothing. Be cool.
Be cool.
And I whisper to the others, I think he needs to pee. Shall we stop for a moment?
Maybe he's just scared of the wolf like me. Can any of y'all make a fire? Maybe we can make a fire. Wolves don't like fire. At least
Then we would be stuck where the fire is. Got to keep moving.
No. We can figure out a way to make a torch. Maybe we could wrap your hoodie around a stick.
No.
Back down.
Let's move on.
She'll say, "Well, I
As soon as Alex is ready.
she'll say, well, with the four of you here, I'm sure the wolf will prove no danger to the five of us."
It probably won't even show up.
Let's hope
That's my
so.
experience. Not afraid of any stupid wolf.
And she will walk on. She keeps you close at hand, Simon. Clearly taking you as the leader of this group. She seems to kind of acknowledge your superiority.
I am the coolest in this group.
And
I whisper to Pock, just if the wolf shows up, let's leave Simon to him and run away.
This is
I
what
would.
gaming gets you. Now you're completely detached from the situation. You're suggesting we leave a companion to be devoured by a wolf.
Well, he's not very nice to us.
This is what my mom says about violent video games.
Yes. We are not avatars. We are here for real. This is different.
Okay.
and you will proceed on the woods. She's humming a little tune. Again, as a classic fairy tale figure, the sort of the raven dark hair and the porcelain white skin. She turns every once in a while and smiles at you, Simon. She is absolutely enchanting. And you've gone maybe 30, 40 minutes, and you'll hear a pounding on the ground and a running, and almost before you know it, this, from the woods, this figure bursts forth. And you will see this wolf on two legs, and he has like a tabard and kind of what looks like maybe chainmail on, and a axe, and he is swinging it wildly at you guys. So a tabard. You know, like the Three Musketeers have, the sort of overpiece. Yeah. So this suddenly explodes out. Situation's just suddenly changed. He rushes out. He's in the middle of you. Alex, what do you do?
I just try and stab him, like right in his face. I'm so scared.
Okay. That does seem like that's probably a muscle check there for your attack. Actually, scrap. Sorry, scrap. We have an actual stat for that.
Scrap. Okay.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and make a scrap check? I'm just going to set his target number as a default here against that.
Okay. So I roll a single die, right?
You roll a single die. If you get a 1, your level goes down. If you get a 6, it goes up, and you get to roll again.
All right. Well, I got a 1, so
okay.
Scrap 2.
Okay, so you will go after this wolf, and what does it look like when you don't even come close to connecting?
I think I'm like too far back. Like I'm like behind everyone, but I'm taller, and I'm just like, and I just like swing, and it just goes over top everyone's head, doesn't even come close to him.
Okay, that's wild swing there. Probably comes close to hitting some of your friends. Yeah, that makes sense to me. What about you, Luna?
Well, I still can't really control like the things I dream to me. So in surprise and then shock that I get attacked, my skin is turning like into like a tree skin. So I'm building like a protective like a shield, but like my skin is getting hard like wood.
You'll spend a point of imagination, and we'll have you make an imagination check to see how successful that is.
Yes. So I have 2d6 on that, right? Because
yes, you do.
Specialty. Life is so good. Dream world. Do I ever want to return? I don't know.
Oh, well, maybe we can change your mind on that.
A 1 and a 4 doesn't look good.
Okay. So that's still at 5th grade level. So yeah, let's say that you definitely get this bark skin. What's the not good thing about this bark skin, though?
Well, I can't move anymore.
Okay, kind of very stiffly there. All right, but you are very, very protected. Let's come to you, Simon. Red gives a little shriek.
Simon winks at her and goes, "Excuse me a sec," and then he just whips Lockjaw around and tries to take the wolf out at the knees.
Okay, so we've established that we've got Lockjaw is a weapon, and essentially it adds a level to your attack test. So your scrap goes up by 1, and you get to roll your scrap.
Yep, and that's my specialty.
Mm-hmm.
So I rolled a 4 and a 2, but with the +1 from the weapon, I am at 7th grade level.
Okay, so you will hit. So and you actually hit him in the leg. I mean, he's got some chainmail, so it doesn't take the full brunt of it, but it's a solid hit, and you've got those nails in it, right?
Yep.
So it will sink into his leg, and he will give a howl of pain, as you can imagine only a wolf can do there. Let's come to you, Jonathan. What are you doing?
I think I tried to get behind the closest tree.
It's Luna.
And I probably, fuck, Luna cast oak flesh.
And Red will run back behind the tree where you are at, Jonathan, essentially to hide back there with you. The wolf is essentially going to try to knock you down, Simon. So what it is you will roll either scrap or scamper against this. I'm assuming scrap.
You would be right.
Okay. Then I'm going to roll for the wolf. So go ahead and make your...
I got a 6, so I'm gonna... Do I roll my specialty on this every time I re-roll?
That is... No, just the die that you rolled a 6 on, you get
Okay.
the bump up. So you get to roll again.
So I got a 5 on the second one, so I am 7th grade, because I presume the weapon doesn't affect that.
Yeah, because it doesn't affect attack tests. So he doesn't swing the axe at you, but he tries to like push you away and push you back, and you kind of get your the lockjaw up and in the way and kind of knock his arm back. And again, he's tall. He's a good 6 foot. The wolf, and he's looking at you, and he's looks like he's not angry. He's just like something's wrong. That's the look on this wolf's face. What are you doing, Alex? Looks like Simon is actually engaged this wolf.
I just like dropped my trident and like drop down on my knees, and I'm like unsling the pack, and I'm like, oh man, and I'm trying to find my fireworks.
Okay. So yeah, let's say that you can get that out this round and kind of get it set. How does that sound? Like got it out, and what is the fire? Which firework do you have out?
I pull out some of those. I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a long string of what look like the little dynamite sticks. And
okay, like the little firecrackers.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So you got that out, got a big explosive thing of that there. Luna, you realize that you are kind of stuck here, very, very protected, but kind of stuck. And you see that Jonathan and Red have kind of run behind you. Can I have you make a seek roll for me?
Oh, yes, I can. Sorry, but I need to stay muted because of the rain.
That's fine. So what is that?
The 4.
And what's your seek?
Hi.
Okay. So as Red kind of gets behind you with Jonathan, she's smiling. Not scared, smiling. Wow, that is
something wrong.
Let's come to Simon. You are one-on-one combat with this wolf that kind of looks like he's an armored knight. He's got that axe. He hasn't swung it at you yet, but you've knocked aside his blow and you've driven this nail into him. What do you want to do?
I think Simon's going to try and intimidate him.
Ooh, okay.
So Simon's like, I swear to God, dog boy, if you don't back off, I'm going to knock your head clean off and into those woods.
Okay. I would say that it'd be either cool or pluck.
Well, I have a better cool than I have pluck, so.
Then let's have you roll that.
All right. I'm a cool guy. Missed my 2d6 already.
Yes.
If only I could scrap everybody. 3rd grade level.
He does not seem intimidated by you in the least. But I'll come back to what his reaction is. He's not coming at. He's kind of stopped and not coming at you right this second. We'll come back to him in a moment. Jonathan, you're kind of hiding back there behind Luna with Red. Red smells good. like that kind of beautiful perfume. She smells lovely, and she's standing like a little too close to you, because of course you go both hiding back here.
I'm noticing, but I'm trying to figure out what to do, and I'm thinking, okay, if Luna can turn into a tree, maybe I can do something. If we've got power here, so I pull out my dice and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can cast like a summon a ghost or something to
Summon
fight
a
for me.
ghost. Okay. Let's have you give that a try. Go ahead. We're going to have you roll imagination. It's kind of tough. You can also spend a point of your imagination to do this.
So my imagination goes down by 1.
Yep, but you still count your original score. So you're at 4th grade level. You roll
Okay.
1d6.
Okay, and I got a 2.
Okay, so you're at 4th grade level. So is the ghost, I'll give you a choice. Is the ghost not that great? Is it out of control, or is it forming slowly?
I think it's not that great. Like it might
Okay.
make a better distraction than anything. I think with my dice, I probably rolled low, and so that's what I ended up getting.
So yeah, so there's this little sort of ghost specter thing, not to great scale. It's like 85 millimeter. You wanted it bigger, and it's kind of woo out, rolling over there. Can I have you make a seek roll for me?
Yeah. See. And that's a 5.
It's a 5. So you're still at 4th grade level. Yeah. You actually take a wound.
Oh man.
And you realize that your neck is really warm. And the area is getting a little blurry for you. We'll come back to that in just a moment. The wolf looks at you, Simon, and says, "Run away!" Looks at you out, "Run!"
Can I give him a hint?
From you, not likely.
Not likely. We'll have you try that on your roll. Let's have Alex act first, since I'm kind of sticking with that same order here. Alex, this wolf is kind of trying to talk to you guys. Ready?
I'm still like trying to light the fireworks. And
Okay.
I'll probably just light them and then I will run away.
All right. So what effect do you want the fireworks to have?
I think they're just like, when you're a little kid, what you imagine fireworks would actually be like.
Okay. That sounds great. So with your key item, we'd just say you spend a point of imagination and it happens. So spend one of your points of imagination, and it lights up this clearing. Okay. Micro explosions and stuff, and everywhere, and the wolf is blinded, and Jonathan, you'll probably hear a cry from next to you. We'll come back to that as she pulls her fangs out of your throat from this firework thing. But yeah, and you can take off, Alex. You've certainly, the wolf is stunned. Simon, this situation has changed. fireworks, flashing lights, boom, 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 the wolf. What are you doing?
Geez, things just went crazy.
Yes.
Well, I think we'll take this opportunity to get everyone out, because normally I would just be crazy and let everyone else get away, but in this case, we'll get people out of here. So I'm almost they wouldn't think it, but I'm almost mama ducking them, because Simon is in fact trying to protect the other three.
All right.
So I'm trying to make
Alex
sure that
is
they all
taken
get out.
off. Luna is a tree, and the other two are kind of back behind Luna. Do you want to try and pick Luna up? Do you want to try and run around and push those two?
Luna, if she stops being a tree, can outrun me, and I'm well aware of that. Whereas I'm relatively certain that nerds can't run because they all have asthma.
So you run around to grab Jonathan and move him along with Red, right?
Yep.
And you'll see Red there, and you can see that there's blood trickling down from the corners of her mouth, and she has these 2 enormous fangs, and she has just cold black shark eyes.
Has she seen me yet?
I'm going to have you make a pluck check.
Okay. You have a pluck of 2, right? Yeah.
Yes, you do.
All right, 2nd grade level.
So you freeze. You see, her eyes are just pools of black, and you see those fangs, and you can see Jonathan kind of falling back a little bit, and there are puncture marks in his throat. Luna, what do you do?
Well, this has escalated quickly, and as a tree, I can't move at the moment. I'm a tree, and I don't know exactly how to transform that back. I think it happens at some point in time automatically, but what I can do is, like, I can build from my skin. I use my imagination again and build thorns.
Okay.
Thorns from the tree to shoot against this.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like that.
All right. So you want to spend another point of imagination to create essentially an attack effect for the scene, right?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and spend that, and then we'll have you make. What is your throw? Because that is the ranged skill.
2nd.
Okay. So you're going to make a throw test.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to roll only 1 die.
Yes.
It's a 4. That means
Okay.
it's safe. 2nd grade.
So the thorns go out. You didn't roll a 1, so they don't go into your friends that are nearby as you explode with thorns. But it doesn't look like they hit Red Vampire Hood. But she does look like this firework thing is freaking her out. Jonathan, what do you do?
I'm probably, I'm pretty freaked out. Probably kind of just try and stumble away.
Okay, so that sounds like a scamper as you're going to try and run. Does that seem right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's have you make a scamper roll.
Okay. Scamper is on the site. And I got a 4.
All right, so you're getting into the woods, but not that far. The wolf, Alex, is kind of stumbling around. Clearly, he got full firework in his face, and you can probably smell burning wolf. And he's kind of stumbling. He doesn't stumble towards you, but he's going, run, get away from her, like that. And Jonathan, as you're kind of running into the woods, the illumination, again, the woods are dark, but you're getting those flashes of the fireworks behind you. And Blue Red Riding Hood, she is right behind you. She is following you.
Let's see if I can pick up like a sharp stick thinking vampire stake to the heart.
All right. So your next plan is to switch and go for it. All right. That sounds good to me. Let's come back to Alex. You've let off this magnificent fireworks display. The wolf is certainly put out of commission. You've run. Where do you go?
So I'm running, and then I see Jonathan start running, and he's being chased by her, and she's got blood on her face and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you see her eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just try and like chop block her.
So describe how that would just to kind of put the trident in front of her, or to block her, or how are you doing that?
I think I would try and actually just get low and dive for her legs as she's running past. So when she does, because she's not paying attention to me, and I could really take her out.
Okay.
So that Jonathan can get away.
That sounds like a good call. So she's pretty fast, but she's not aware. So we'll kind of set the difficulty at, let's say 4th grade level for that.
Okay.
So why don't you make your scrap check?
Okay.
Are you using Trident to help you knock her down?
Sure.
That's a good justification in the fiction for an extra +1. So always worth it.
Okay, so I'm doing this at a 4th grade level.
Okay. So you knock her down. Essentially, the effect is she doesn't take any damage, but she is knocked to the ground, and she kind of hits that ground, that red cloak, and she kind of looks up and does that hiss at you as she's there in the woods, and kind of you're pretty close face to face with her. Luna, what do you do? I think you're muted there, Garrett.
My tree. I try to move again, and try to get my branches in her direction.
Yeah, she's run off. Jonathan's run off in the woods, and she is followed behind him. So they've run off, though, maybe about 20, 30 feet, and she's gotten knocked down.
If I can get my branches moved, then maybe I can also move the trunk again, i.e. my legs, and run behind them, because I see my friends are in danger, and I'm still scared from the fireworks because I'm a tree. But maybe I can get motion at least and get them, because
All right. Let's do this as an imagination roll.
All right.
If you do well, we'll kind of read how fast you can kind of move up.
Yes. So, I have one die exploding.
Excellent.
So is my current imagination, or am I starting?
Your current.
My current. Then it's 4th grade.
Okay, so I'm going to say
3 + 1.
You can get up close by her. She's on the ground, and Alex is on the ground. But that's essentially going to be your action. Simon, the spell has kind of been broken now that the fireworks have hit her, and she's run chasing after Jonathan. What do you want to do? You're muted.
It's the power of the vampire. It's muted me.
I know. Spoil your voice like a cat.
Yeah. Well, I feel kind of betrayed. I'm not super cool with this. So I'd like to go and drive the handle of Lockjaw through that vampire's cold dead heart.
Okay. Let's have you go ahead and make that scrap test.
Quick
With a
question.
+1 for the weapon. Yes.
She's prone, right?
Yep.
Would we count this as ambushed?
Ooh, that sounds like a good way to justify an extra die. So
That
yes.
does sound sweet. All right. So my talent is if I see an opening, I must use it. If I attempt a scrap attack against an opponent that you've ambushed, I gain +1 grade.
That's great. So +1 grade, and you're going to get an extra die for position.
Sweet. Well, I already get 2d6. So does that mean I'm rolling 3d6?
Yes, it does.
Holy crap. All right. Yeah, I wish one of those was a 6.
Oh.
But, I mean, nevertheless, since I get +1 grade from that and +1 grade from the weapon, that'll be a 8th grade level attack.
Okay. So that will hit her, and you're a little stunned that, I mean, it just scrapes her. Like, it just does something to her.
It does 1 +1 muscle also because
Oh, yeah.
holy.
Yeah. But that seems to, like, clearly actually being hit and taking, effect is relatively unknown for her. So when you do scratch her, there's a word you use in the English language to say the thing I meant to say. Anyway, so when you do that, she looks pissed. Jonathan, you have kind of an opening as your comrades have knocked her down and done some damage to her. What do you want to do?
I mean, don't think there's much I can do, but I want to try and, like, I see that Simons didn't do much, but I'm still going to try because that's the only thing I know what to do about a vampire other than
Fair
fire.
enough.
And I don't think I have time to try and light a fire.
So trying to stab it with the stick you picked up, or
Yes, Deborah with the
Okay.
stick. I was thinking maybe since you said she's like 15, 16, that she's probably bigger than me, so that
Yep.
might hit the David and Goliath whenever facing an opponent whose stature is larger than yours, gain +1 advantage on the attack.
all right. So that will give you a +1. So it'll add 1 to your scrap, and then you roll your die.
And that's a 2, so I guess I just have 2nd grade on that.
Okay. So here is what's going to happen. You have come in, and it's kind of a crazy, pushing on her, but she's taken a little bit of damage, and that has clearly freaked her out. And there will be that moment when she kind of looks up at you, and then she explodes into a flock of bats that just kind of flies out like the fireworks, like an explosion, and immediately dissipates.
I told you guys we should have made a torch.
Alex, your fireworks are kind of dimming. You look up, you'll see that Luna is kind of stuck in that tree position. This girl has turned into bats and flown away. And you'll hear this kind of hoarse from the path behind you. What do you do?
I just turn with the pitchfork at the ready, but don't attack.
You'll see the wolf guy. He's there. He's got some kind of bandage that he's putting on his leg where that rusty nail went into it. And he's just kind of looking at you guys. What about you, Simon? What about you, Jonathan?
Simon swings at bats as they go by, and as they fly away, he yells at them, going, "You better run!"
Shoo me back. Watch out. Looks at you, Jonathan.
I mean, I'm probably just hiding behind Simon. Obviously the wolf seems to be a friendly character, but I'm still. All this is freaking me out.
Simon looks at you and goes, "Dude, I bet that counts as first base, though."
Just like shocked face. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
The Wolf Knight will reach into his bag, and you'll see him pull out a bundle of garlic, and he'll hold it out to you, Alex.
And I'll kind of bring the trident back up to a over my shoulder position and like reach out and grab the garlic.
Keep that with you. I have to go.
Dude, what?
What?
You just showed up, randomly attacked, tell us to watch out, and then you leave? The hell?
I have to follow her.
She's flying. You said she'd be back. Why don't you just hang out with us? And then she'll be back, and you'll be here.
He looks at you, and he kind of hunkers down a little bit. He goes, I have a sacred duty.
He's a duty.
And he will take off into the woods. There's a glimmer of recognition in his eyes when you say that, and he's like, oh, I get it. And he takes off into the woods. Let's take 5 for a bio break here, and hopefully we'll get Garrett back after 5. So I'm gonna take that pause there.
Pause.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen at home. I hope you're enjoying Grimm.
Well, I'm pretty sure what happens now is Luna just is stuck a tree.
Simon was going to point out that, like, why did you turn into a tree? I gave you a shield.
You're muted, lol.
You're muted, lol.
Yeah, she does have that shield. You are right. I had forgotten about that.
No, well, I mean, Garrett described it as kind of an instinctual thing, so I think that makes sense. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Our
that's
poor,
why we call her the Potato Queen.
our poor dreamer turning herself into a tree.
It's like oh god, what is the Greek myth with the girl
Daphne.
who turned herself? Is it Daphne?
Daphne and Cupid. Yeah.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you so much for calling her Potato Queen. That is the best thing that's ever happened. Ever.
Let's give Garrett one more minute, and then we'll move on. He has very iffy internet down there, so
Yeah.
He's dodging water coming through the ceiling. Like, he's hardcore.
Yep, he likes gaming.
yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
But gaming does not like him, at least when it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. So let me see now. You have a decent scouts score, don't you, Jonathan? So if you want, you can make a scouts check to see if you can heal up that damage, essentially bandage yourself from the blood-sucking vampire bite. You are muted.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay.
Yeah, probably after everything went down, I probably am I bleeding?
How bad is it?
Dude, that's going to leave a wicked scar.
Can somebody else clean the blood? I can't handle blood.
Man up. So Luna actually has really good scout. if Johnny Boy wants to scout himself, then Simon will help by wiping the blood away. Because I have a scouts of 1, so I can assist on the roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll work on. I'll do that, and
Just don't roll a 1.
just don't roll a 1. Okay.
Well, you get to roll 2d6 because you're the nerd.
Yeah, that's right. I got a 2 and a 4.
Okay, so you were able to bandage it. What do you use to bandage it?
I think I probably pull an extra shirt because of course Mom packed me an extra shirt, and I asked Simon to rip part of the sleeve off. I just kind of tie it around my neck.
So it looks like a Johnny Ascot. All right.
Something like that.
So you will move on through the forest. We're just going to say that Luna's with you, but she's not moving as fast as she would like to, and she's probably a little bit quieter since she's still trying to shake off the bark skin effect. And Simon, are you taking point again? Or are you a little more hesitant now? Have you learned something?
I don't think that Simon has learned anything. He was awesome. He took down a wolf knight and a vampire.
Okay.
So if anything, he has learned that he is even more awesome in the fantasy land than he was in the regular world. He's starting to see the appeal.
Alex, what's your takeaway from this incident?
It's I'm just gonna hide from anything from now on. Fighting is clearly the wrong decision.
Even though your fireworks were legit the only thing that really worked.
Yeah. There's still that smell of cordite in the air there, and firework powder and all of that hanging. Probably hangs for the next few minutes as you're walking through the woods.
Let me back up. There is Simon's not hesitant, but Pock's insane attack with fireworks and the nerd getting bitten by a vampire have earned a measure of Simon's respect. Just a little.
That seems like a fair justification there. You will
still around.
You will move on and eventually break out of the woods, and you will see that the landscape kind of changes, and you are kind of on a ridge. Kind of gotten to that mountainous area. I keep saying kind of. That's a weasel word. You've gotten to this mountainous ridge. You're moving along, and you can see that there's more activity and actually more people here. Looks like where you're at kind of passes above. Maybe it looks like there's some buildings down below. Maybe even kind of an open space that looks like a courtyard. There are some banners down there. And some people, and there are people in like armor, and then there are also look like smallish sort of goblin-y people that are clearly servants, and it's kind of just a lot of activity down in there. Looks like you can just go on past it, and the road continues on, but what you will notice as you kind of moving and you're a ways out of eyesight of the area is that out in that sort of open courtyard, you see 4 of your fellow students. And they are kind of, hands are tied and they are kind of roped together, and they've clearly been set off into the side as prisoners. What do you want to do?
Oh man, guys, we should probably help them.
Yeah, I'm thinking we burn the town. Like, just burn the whole thing down.
Oh, so now you want to use fire.
Well, now there's a reason. Like, we're not trying to, like, hunker around it.
Well, I did suggest we turn your hoodie into a torch.
Yeah, that's not ever going to happen.
Guys, we need to be real careful. If there's someone here who's capturing kids, like, we gotta. I don't want to get captured. Maybe we should just go around this.
But if we free them, we'll have an army of people who can use their minds as weapons. Which goes back to Plan A, taking over and ruling the world.
I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of with Simon on helping the guys out.
Yeah!
Well, then we need to make ourselves look like we're not kids at least before we go in there.
We could just, be sneaky.
Look, I don't really do the hiding.
Wait. I summoned a ghost earlier. I know it wasn't that great, but maybe I can summon.
You did what?
But maybe if I rolled better, what I could do is summon a creature that looks like one of those down there, and we could try the whole, Simon being like Chewbacca thing, and coming in like we're prisoners.
No. I go by that. I say we burn it down.
So you've said it burned it down. So then let's assume that the buildings are probably thatch and wood and gingerbread. Does that make sense for the construction of those down there?
Yes. Those are top-notch building materials.
Yeah. You'll see they have some gumdrop accessories on there, but they're old. So they're gumdrops that have been outside, so they've got like hair stuck on them and that kind of thing.
Can I use industrial arts to figure out the best way to make that whole town fall apart?
Well, let's have you roll industrial arts. Let's see what you get.
Can I help him on that? I mean, I only have a 1, but I'd be able. I have the specialty of rolling 2.
Oh, that's a good one. So let's see here. Teamwork, since you're helping him, let's give him an extra die. How does that sound?
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Fortunately, that means I don't get a 1.
Okay.
But I'm still only at a 3rd grade level.
Oh.
So you could probably get one of the buildings there. I mean, you see the whole village? No. One of the buildings, yes. What is the deal with this one building that makes it particularly vulnerable?
So we spent a night with a architectural genius, if Reginald does say so himself.
Sure.
And part of that has to do with how you secure your joints.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of sloppily done, much like the towers that I got Lockjaw from, where they have things not that well secured. So just the right amount of force on one wall and the whole thing comes down.
Yeah. So let's say this building that's pretty decently close. It looks like it might be a goblin barracks. Is shoddily constructed. It looks like they didn't ice the joints properly. The icing seems cracked there. And they didn't, do the dovetail or anything like that with actual dovetails. So all of that is a problem. So you will get that. So you and Jonathan can kind of work that out. While they're examining that and kind of looking and figuring out how to bring down Gingerbread Land, what are you doing, Alex?
I think I'm hiding and trying to make sure that no one sees us.
Okay. So if you devote your energy to that, I'm going to say that you can certainly keep them out of sight. Well, let's not even make that a roll for that. Does that seem good? Because you've got a specialty in it, and you've got the 4th grade level.
Yeah, I think it's like comically like obvious though. Like I have like just grabbed up a bunch of like rubbish and shrubbery, and I just kind of move it wherever we are so that we're behind a bush.
Okay. You find a cardboard box, you all get under it and move it along. Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So yeah, you guys are up above on this sort of walkway that goes past this place that's down below. There's a set of stairs. You're able to conceal yourselves. The other thing you will notice during the course of this, as people are kind of moving around and stuff, is that you're watching the knights, Alex, and you realize that they've got a weird yellowish coloration to their armor. Almost looks like it's kind of lacquered or egg washed.
And I point this out to everyone, like, guys, this is the people in yellow that Reginald told us about.
Well, then we better get the other guys out of there.
Another loud gulp for me.
Look, we could wait till night. We'll dress up as goblins or whatever, and then we'll break them out.
What if we just took off our shirts, peed on the shirts, and put the shirts back on?
What?
Well, then they think that we're on their side.
What?
The shirts would be yellow, of course. We would match them.
Dude, first of all, sick. And second of all, I've peed on a lot of people's shirts. And it doesn't look like that. You should remember.
You got a better idea?
Yeah, we wait till night, dress like goblins, go and break them out, burn the town, and then leave.
How are we going to just dress like goblins? You just got a goblin outfit?
You guys are the ones who stay in the basement pretending to be goblins all the time. Haven't you ever figured that out?
No,
Don't you like go play in the
goblins.
steam tunnels or something?
We don't LARP, okay?
Don't LARP.
You know what?
Never mind.
What the? Look, I don't speak geek, but I'm sure that you have spent more time with the sewing machine than I have.
I just grabbed Jonathan, and I'm just like, we got to pee on our shirts.
It's not going to work.
I just kind of nod my head like, okay.
Why don't
Alex,
you?
So do you want to try to yellow your shirt?
Yes.
All right. Let's have you roll home ec.
All right. I think I actually have a decent home ec.
Yes, you do.
Yep, 3rd grade level home ec. Let's see how this goes.
If it with a 3rd grade level, it will definitely require the peeing to get the shirts, the yellow that you want. If you can get above the 3rd grade, then you can probably find another non-urine based solution.
Is that something that I could help him with?
Hey, I got a 4.
Yeah. You can. So you can assist. Do you want to? So you can get a second die there, because he has home ec as well.
Okay. Well, I already got a 4. Should I?
Oh.
Should I roll again?
Roll. You got to roll again to get better than your grade level, because you need to get a 6 to increase your grade level.
Oh, I see. Then I'll roll the second dice. The second die was a 1, so I got a 4 and a 1.
Okay, so it definitely does involve peeing. Okay. Are you pee staining just your shirt, or your shirt and Jonathan's shirt?
I think that it's both shirts are managed to yellow.
Okay.
Probably the less said about it, the better.
Yes. So you have discolored a couple of shirts. They are yellowed, and you have done so. So we cut back to you guys. All of that's done off camera.
Yeah, and I've got some of the shrubbery that was from the forest, so it smells like cheap car stuff, and I'm just like rubbing it over the shirts now. I'm
Okay. So just to conceal the smell. All right. So that is the situation. Is you two are in slightly damp yellow shirts, and Simon, you have figured out how to blow up one of these buildings.
Yep.
What's the next step, guys? It's probably, let's say now, mid-afternoon. Maybe you can see that the sun with its glaring face is getting closer towards sunset. You figure you probably got an hour or two before it goes down and the moon comes out.
Well, Simon's plan had been to wait until dark. Unless there's some reason to not to. That's still his plan. But if...
I just keep watching and make sure they don't, like, eat our friend. Well, not friends, but eat the other kids.
Okay.
I prefer to think of them as potential subjects, retainers.
What's a retainer? Like in your mouth?
Nice.
Probably while I'm watching them, I'm practicing my dice rolling.
Okay. Getting it down, getting the luck. There'll be that bit where you roll a couple of 20s in a row and you're like, oh, why'd I roll? God, you know.
Why'd I waste it?
Wasted it.
So it looks like they are setting up some kind of like event. You will see that the goblins throughout the day are putting together this almost like a bleachers, maybe a dais thing. They bring some like bowls of gruel over to the kids and give those to them as it gets dusk. But they also, the goblins are laughing and poking at them and kind of taunting them.
All right.
The knights move around on patrol. The one thing you will see is at one point from the sort of the bigger building, you will see them carry out a throne. There are 4 of these knights. There's a throne, and they take it over to another building, like they're taking it there for someone. And now it is dusk. How do you wish to proceed?
So Simon's idea, to lay it out quickly, is for Pock and Johnny Boy to create a distraction by knocking down that building. And while they're doing that, he'll spring the other guys, and then they'll all run like hell. Josh, you're muted.
We made our disguises for a reason. You knock the building over, and we'll go get them.
Oh, do you know how to pick locks?
They are tied together.
Oh, no, you don't.
They're tied together. I can untie a knot.
I have very little faith in that.
No, Simon, he's wicked good with knots. Like, you don't get it.
Well, he did seem to be into the kink with a Red White Riding Hood there. So, all right.
What, like when you have like a hose and the water doesn't come out?
Yeah, something like that. So Simon's like, all right, I'll knock the building down. You get the kids and get to be the heroes.
All right. So, sounds like Alex, Jonathan, you are going to kind of try to sneak down in using your disguises to create cover to blend in. Does that seem right?
Yeah. I think before we go, I look at Jonathan and I'm like, luck check.
Yeah, I guess let's do it.
All right. So I need you two to make hide rolls. Jonathan and Alex make hide rolls.
Cool. That's my thing. So I get
Yes.
an extra die.
Yep.
I got a 3. It's the high die.
Okay. So you're operating at your 4th grade level.
Mhm.
And Jonathan, what about you?
I got a 2, so I'm at my 3rd grade level.
Okay. So the knights in the sort of lacquered armor seem kind of occupied, so it's not all that tough. The goblins are taking care of their various business. You'll be able to get up pretty close. You're within a good short run over to the kids, and Jonathan, you may be a little bit less hidden, and there's this moment when one of these goblins steps out from around. Looks like he was using the little goblin's room around back, and steps out and sees you and furrows his brow, and looks like he's about to maybe interrogate you or call you out or something like that. So right now, Alex is hidden close by. This goblin has spotted you. Let me cut and see how well Simon does with his sneaking down.
Simon, in point of fact, proves Geraldo Rivera right, pulls his hood down over his face, and expends his imagination so that he looks like any other brute, and mostly people want to stay out of his way.
That's a very good thing. Okay, so you saunter down there. The goblins see you, but they're like, whoa, I don't want to mess with that dude. I don't know who he is, but I don't want to mess with him.
He's got a skull.
Yeah. You'll get into this goblin barracks. The smell is indescribable. If you thought their shirts were bad, nothing matches the fetid smell of a goblin barracks. They all have like 4-stage bunk beds, and you have the sense that they probably all wet their beds. And it is this horror show place. And there's food thrown all over the place. And the other thing that will strike you is everywhere there are eggs, broken eggs, like dried scrambled eggs on plates, all of that kind of thing. And the smell is really bad. But you can make your way over and begin to get ready to bring down this building. Does that seem reasonable?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to cut back to this. You had a pretty successful check there for your hide, Alex. You will see that Jonathan is about to have an encounter with this goblin. Do you want to hold position? Do you want to move on? Do you want to intervene?
I think that I want to try and intervene because I need him to, if we're going to untie these knots. I don't have a chance of untying these knots otherwise.
Okay, so we'll put you in as a supporting character, doing support here. Jonathan, this goblin's like, oh, who are you? Who are you?
I'm the new recruit. Didn't you hear they were recruiting more of us?
And like from behind the building where Jonathan can see me and the goblin can't, I'm like, slap him hard.
Draw in a deep breath and go for it.
Let's have you make a pluck check.
Yes. Ken, I want to use my iconic pluck thing.
Okay. So just reduce your pluck by 1.
Okay.
And you slap him. and there's that as you slap him and you hit him and he goes, "Oh, geez, you hit me." What'd you, God, and he runs away. Here is his racking goblin sighs as he runs away from you.
And Alex is just like,
You are well on the path to becoming a bully.
I'm just. That worked?
And I assume you guys will proceed over to get the kids out.
I assume so.
Okay. You got that hijack successfully from before, so you can make your way over. And they see you, and they begin to move and kind of freak out because, oh God, here are other kids. It looks like they're going to maybe like try and get up or shout to you or something.
Just.
Who is the problem of these 4 kids? There are 4 kids here. Which one is going to be the problem? Alex?
it's Philip. Like, Philip can't help himself. He's like so excited and so hyper, and he can't whisper. He just can't, and he wants to keep talking about everything that happened.
Oh my God, you guys! I can't believe you got here! Oh my God! Yeah! Oh man, you're gonna untie us! Oh sweet!
Shut up, Philip!
Oh, I'll be quiet, man! I'll be quieter than this.
I think because I'm kind of like pumped up from the thing with the goblin, I'm just going to try and slap him into being quiet.
Make a pluck check. Doesn't
That's
take
my
much.
kind of one.
So
Yeah, except for he just burned a pluck. So
that's a 3, so it'll be 3rd grade.
So it's not quite the open-handed pimp slap that you gave the goblin, but this does hit him. He's like, "Oh my God!" Oh, and he gets quiet because he doesn't want to get slapped again.
Just like, holy cow, Jonathan! It's hardcore.
Don't want to die because he's an idiot.
Let's get him untied already.
Okay.
All right, Jonathan, let's have you make that scouts roll for me. So here's what I'm going to set the difficulty at. With a 4th grade success, you can get one of them out pretty quickly. Every grade level up from that, you're going to get another one out pretty quickly.
I got 2 5s.
Okay, so you get one of them out, knots untied, getting that set. How are you keeping this all quiet, Alex, while he is doing that?
I am just like, whenever he gets the one loose, I think I've still got all that like bush rubbish, and I'm just like moving it along so as they stand behind me to get them to like behind the next building, and then I'm like moving back to get whoever's going to be untied next.
Okay, so Tina, you get her out. She's untied. She comes with you, gets her behind. She goes, then kind of looks away from you.
And I like hand her like one of the bushes, like one of, so it smells more piney at least.
We cut back to Simon. Simon, is your plan to just knock it down right now, or do you want to kind of set something so it'll go off in a little bit? What's your plan here?
well, the idea was that this would be a distraction, so people would come and check out the fallen building rather than the people being freed.
Okay.
So the idea is, while they're doing in process, more or less, I want it to fall down. If it can fall down after I've left, that would be cool too. But my basic plan had just been to knock it down.
All right. This seems like a muscle check
I like muscle checks.
because you've already figured out how to do it. So muscle is what we're doing now.
Yeah. Sweet. Those are my favorite. Six. All right. Da, da, da. Do, 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 do.
Oh my God, you're gonna.
Holy. Oh, 6665. So 3 grades higher than my normal grade. So it's 8th grade level.
Describe to me, A, you're able to get out of here before it goes off with that kind of success, but how is this particular destruction spectacular? How does it draw all the attention?
Well, so the big throne is in a different room, right?
Yeah, it's in a different building.
Okay. So I think what happens, first of all, is that he gets over behind the building, looks at the crappy architecture, and he's like, should have made it yourselves. And so he squares his shoulders and holds lockjaw like a golf club. And he looks at the bottom left corner, and he's like, thanks for the tips, Reginald. This, and then there's a crack that starts crawling up the wall while he runs away. And just like bits of gingerbread start falling off. And then the whole wall falls down. And then there's the inside, and there's like a goblin in a bath. And they're like, the whole bath is coming down. And so the water splooshes out, and the bath actually slides down the muddy, piss-covered roads of the goblin town with the screaming goblin inside of it.
So where you guys are at, Alex, Jonathan, you're set. You've got one. You've just put Tina back there. Alex, you're coming back, and you'll hear the boom as that building goes down, and then the whee as the goblin slides by in the bathtub. Full on smashes into a building across the way. Everyone is looking that way. Let's have you make another check here. You've got some extra time to do this. Let's have you make another scout roll, Jonathan.
Yeah, 2 and a 5.
Okay, so given that now you have time, you have focus to be able to get the rest of them out. You've got that distraction. You get them out of there. Even Philip, who kind of does this because he doesn't want to get slapped again when you go to untie his ropes, Alex, how are you getting these people out without getting spotted? I mean, you got that distraction, but it took some time to get them untied. How are you doing this?
It's probably just more of the same, honestly. Just bush, moving bush. Nobody pay attention to the moving bush. It's perfectly normal in Fairy Tale Land.
Okay. Have you make a hide check.
Okay.
Just need to get your default level.
I got a 4, so.
Okay, so not 2 1s. I was hoping for Snake Eyes, but so you will get them out. You get Tina, you get Philip, you get the other 2, you get the twins, and you're kind of rushing out. I mean, people are still looking at that. You guys are probably run back up to where Simon is at. As you guys do that, you will kind of look back and you will see these knights are milling around, and a couple of them have noticed that. Now the kids are gone, but you guys have gotten a little ways away, and they're kind of shouting. And you will see from the bigger building, you will see this figure lumber out in the doorway. And what you see is this enormous grayish egg with eyes and little legs. And it's got a crown kind of taped to its head, and it's all cracked. And you can see from the cracks of this thing, there's this kind of yellow glaze that's seeping. And even from here, when the wind catches, you can smell the smell of rotten egg kind of waft across. And you guys will book. You can book even as the rotten king comes and is looking, and he's screaming for the knights to find the children. Simon, what's the last thing we see from you here in the sort of end of this episode?
So I think what's the place that we're going to? I forget the name of it. Babylon, right? So as they come up the hill, there's Simon with Lockjaw like over his shoulder, grinning like an idiot. And he's like, "Hey guys, ready to follow me to Babylon?" Also, from now on, we're calling those knights the Piss Knights.
And Philip sees you, and he kind of ducks back like he's expecting to get more slaps. Like, clearly,
why is he ducking? I haven't even hit him yet.
Jonathan, what's the last thing we see from you in this episode?
I think it's like as we're heading towards Babylon or whatever with everybody, I think I've got Philip. He's letting me like use his back to write things down, and I'm just taking notes of everything that's happened so I can use them in a game.
Awesome. Do you have a little like graph paper pad kind of thing?
Yeah.
Perfect. And Alex, what's the last thing we see from you?
I think it's like the next day, and we're all like walking and like singing for some reason, because like little kids like to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've like taken my shirt off, and I just kind of have it like tied around a belt loop because it's just awful.
Yes.
And I think I just like point at like the city up ahead, and I'm like, I think that's it. I think we're almost there. And like that'll be the last thing we see.
Perfect. And that's where we will stop from our Grimm sessions there. Nice rolls there at the end, especially the house knocking down roll.
Those sixes evaded me so often.
Yes. So if you guys don't mind, I'd like to take a couple minutes to do Roses and Thorns here for this. And if that's cool with you guys, I will start. I do not like this system. This is a very weird thing. I kind of don't like the rolling to get your default grade level thing. It kind of bugs me. So that's my thorn is I couldn't get past that as a GM as I was running. I had a very hard time with that. Other thorns, either about the system or about the play or about your experience here.
I 100% agree. It does not make a whole lot of sense that I should just have a 1 in 6 chance of doing my default better than my default, or a 1 in 6 chance of not doing my default. Like, why?
Yeah, why?
Pretty weird.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Also, why the redundant skills / traits?
Yeah, there's a few too many, I think.
Yeah, like what's the meaningful difference between having muscle and having scrap?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weirdly granular, and there are also like combat maneuvers and things like that, and points you can spend on. It just, oof.
It was a different time in RPG design.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah. When did it come out?
Let's see here. So this is 2003.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually,
No,
2007.
2007.
Wow, so 10 years ago. It's not that long.
It's not that long ago, but you know what? If you write more stats, there will be more pages. And if there's more pages, you can justify the $50 price tag that I'm sure that thing has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a $40 book for the hardcover.
Yep.
And my copy has pages duplicated, so I actually had to print out replacement pages.
Wow. And I would wager there was never a softcover version either.
No.
So my chief thorn can't be avoided. It's that Garrett isn't here, and that makes me super sad. That's it is what it is. But I wish he could have been there at the end.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Luna's reaction.
Yeah. I feel like I have a lot of roses. The system is a huge thorn, but we've really covered it. So.
Josh, anything from you? I appreciate, by the way, I want to thank you for coming back and playing in the second session. I was sorry that we weren't able to do the first one, but I'm really glad you came and played tonight.
Yeah, I was really disappointed I didn't get to do the first one, but like I said, I was sick and I couldn't hardly think. It was mostly a horrible headache, and so.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't, except for the system, I didn't really see anything. Like, I kind of, I didn't really know what to expect. Mainly what I've played is just Dungeon World and, let's see, I played Firebrands, which was completely different, but
oh yeah,
haven't really played, hardly anything other than Dungeon World. And so,
oh really?
So, yeah, I just now I've been playing these kind of games for a year, and the system was weird to me, and then this was definitely a completely different. Okay, we're kids, and but I like the thematics of it with using grades instead of levels or whatever. But then. Let's see, what was I thinking? Oh, also with the name of Grimm, I was expecting it to be more like the Grimm version of fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, in the book they have a lot of different stuff, from Grimm to like Arthurian stuff and so on. It's kind of an odd mix in the actual book. Here's my rose. I had a great time with these characters. I really, really dug them. That's on the sort of the play side. Really loved that. B, I don't think I've ever played a game that I thought, okay, as much this ought to be PBTA. That's what something like that for this.
Yeah, it would be super easy to just use this as a setting book and play it in PBTA.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, it lends itself to that really nicely. I mean, you can have the imagination move very easily done. You don't have to have all the fancy stuff. You have some nice, archetypal skills as moves for the different types. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this would be an easy conversion.
Mm-hmm.
I think my rose was second session having Josh join. It really changed our party dynamic. It made it to where, because it was the bully, the girl, and the outcast who couldn't quite get along. We kind of tried to make it happen, but then once Jonathan showed up, it was oh, Jonathan and Alex are friends, and it was all of a sudden I could come out of my shell a little bit more, as opposed to being the outcast. I was I'm the outcast, but I've got my one buddy here now. So it really changed in scenes where it was just me and Jonathan, or when we were talking together, it changed the dynamic, and I really enjoyed that.
And it was really nice because it felt like an arc. I mean, you could see between the two sessions, the evolution felt really, really natural. It was good.
And I like how Simon was played. I mean, he played up the bully part of it. I liked it.
It's so hard.
Oh yeah, admiration to Jason for buying into that one, because that's a tough role to do.
Oh, not entirely likable guy.
Roses from you, Jason?
Yeah, I have a lot of roses. Biggest rose is going to go to Lowell, because I have loved every NPC interaction that we had. I loved the hell out of Reginald in session 1. And I like your Scooby-Doo voice for the Wolf Knight and your ridiculous vampire and your goblin. And it's the thing is, because I think a lot of the games I play with you, they're vaguely realistic. And so that part of you often gets toned down, and to see things where you have these over-the-top caricature fable creatures, I think really gave you a chance to show off and shine that, and it was great. I loved playing with these characters. I think that you did a great job giving us circumstances where we could all shine, where the outsider could be sneaky, and where the nerd could rise above their nerdiness. And you gave Simon a chance to be both stupid and brutally effective, which is sometimes hard to balance. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to second the love for Reginald. I could probably spend several hours just in that house doing nothing meaningful and have a great time. Great NPC.
So sad I missed it now. Yeah, I mean.
Well, I'm going to turn it into a LARP.
Yeah.
I love the NPCs that we ran across. Especially the wolf. That cracked me up.
Even Philip. Philip's a nothing NPC. But, you know who he is.
Yeah, that was the perfect voice for, that kind of character. I was like, yes, nailed it.
Yeah.
I have a high standard to live up to with Jason's voices, so...
That's why I don't record my games. No one gets to judge them.
Hey man, you did pretty good with Malphus, the crow guy.
Yeah. My roommates came in. They were like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?"
That's great. So yeah, there's some really neat stuff here. I definitely want to see. Maybe I'll take some time later on and write up a quick adaptation of this for PBTA, because the setting is fun and it could be really interesting, a lot lighter, a lot less worry about the system with something like that.
I'm really curious.
Go ahead.
Lowell, I'm really curious. How much of what we saw was the setting material versus what you came up with?
So the starter that I used with the woods and the teacher is from the book, and then the egg, the Rotten King, is an element from the book, and then most of the other stuff is mine.
Okay, all right.
Because I love the Three Little Pig thing, and I love the idea of that house where he's locked in.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if that was from the book, or if the Red Riding Hood encounter was from the book.
Oh yeah, the Red Riding Hood book is from the book, because that one I adapted because I really liked the visuals of that.
Okay, all right. So that was that's good. That's positive things that are coming from the book.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff, but but it's overwritten. I think when they went to do it as a giant book as opposed to the 72-page original version, because they had so much more space, I think they ended up doing themselves a disservice.
Feature creep. It's a thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking this almost makes more sense as a Fate game than PBTA, just because the characters are archetypes already. Because it's a lot easier to tag the plus and minus of being a bully.
Yeah, though here's the thing is, Fate is about competency. And about, if we were a game where it was a more heroic thing, I would say that. Yeah. If we're doing the kind of it should be kind of dangerous and creepy, I think then PBTA lends itself to that.
Yeah, you make a good point.
I have not been sold on Fate yet. I've only played it a few times with Lowell, and I'm playing it a few times more in a few weeks. I have not. It's not clicked for me yet why I would ever choose Fate over PBTA.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I'm coming back to it. I'm interested because it's doing something. It hasn't happened yet in my mind.
No, that's fair. I think it's fair.
Try Nitrate City if you ever get a chance. That's one of my very favorite world books from that.
And that is accelerated?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Fate Accelerated. That's one of Bill White's. It's movie monsters in 1950s LA. So it's film noir with werewolves, golems, brains in jars. So it's fun.
Yeah. I like we use a Fate thing, and I use it for stuff that is more more cinematic and is more the players are competent and they're getting stuff done kind of games. So
yeah, no.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna stop recording.
Cool beans.
And I'm gonna do that now.